Hey everyone, we are back into Devlog number 2. This is the one for December, so I wanted to change things up and have an outline for the devlog. There's also going to be time codes in the description, so we get more precise with what the content is. But with that said, let's just jump right into it. So this time I wanted to get into the big picture. I kind of touched on that at the end of the last one, but I wanted to get more concise and give a better idea of how I see the game being at launch. That includes things like game modes, whether it's going to be campaign, co-op, multiplayer, stuff like that, and how the game's going to feel. At the same time, I've also been reaching out to my colleagues from college, and they've been loving the work that I've been doing, and they want to be able to help. And I want nothing more to be able to work with them again, and that's awesome. And once we're done with that, we can get into the updates, which will be in the next devlog. Now, it's actually been 2 months since the last devlog was recorded. It was posted in November, but it was actually recorded in October. So there's been quite a number of changes. So before we get into all of that, let's get into the big picture stuff. So looking at the big picture, it's important to understand the process that goes behind deadlines and decisions that are going to be set for the next coming months and years. So for this project, what I want to do is I want to first, within the next 6 months, get a playable demo set up. This demo is going to be very different from the end launch title, which is probably be maybe another year down the line based off what I'm estimating. But the idea is to have a playable demo within the next 6 months. That way then I can start going to publishers and trying to make a deal. So there's going to be other things I need on top of that to go into trying to get a deal other than just the demo. But the demo is going to be obviously a very important feature to having actually something that can show the essence of what the game is going to be. So once the demo is done, and if there's a deal that can be struck, then what happens after that is going to be the standard setup for following game production. So going through your alphas, doing playtesting, getting the betas, and then leading into everything that goes into launch. So there's going to be a lot of things that are outlined within the launched version of the game versus the demo version. And what I'm working on right now in the game is the demo version. But at the same time, I'm keeping in mind the launched goals for what I'm working towards. So with that said, I think it's important for me to explain what the game should be at launch before getting into what I'm going to be doing for the demo. The demo is going to be demonstrating what can be possible for launch, but it's not going to have, in essence, everything, because again, it's just a demo. So with that said, for the launch title, the idea is to have 3 core game modes, game trees, whatever you want to call it. The goal is to have a campaign for the game, to have co-op missions, and then to also have multiplayer. So let's break that down step by step. So the first goal is to have a campaign that will be 5 levels, right? So a 5 level-based campaign. Each level is different. It has a strong focus in story, focus in player exploration, and having the ability to find collectibles, right? It's strong single-player experience where they're able to experience all the core mechanics of the game as well as have a fun time, shooting up AI, again, exploring the different planets, trying to find these lost collectibles, stuff like that. At the same time, there's also going to then be co-op missions. So these co-op missions, the way I plan on seeing it at launch would be 4 different maps with 4 different missions. And with the way that I want the maps to be designed is I want the maps to be, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Destiny and how they do their strike layouts, but pretty much the idea is you have a pretty linear path, and there's a point A and a point B. And point A could be where you start, and point B will be the objective, right? Or like the end boss. Or it could also be flipped. So point B could be where you're starting, and point A could be where the boss is. So with that layout, that means for the co-op missions, there would technically be 32 different iterations that start. And it honestly shouldn't be too hard to code at that point, because it's using different iterations of what's already implemented for those missions. It's not like coming up with 32 unique paths or unique missions. It's using these multipliers to increase those variations. And the goal there is to have a fun time. We're able to have up to 4 people in co-op and have a nice PvE experience with your friends. Then on the flip side, we have the PvP multiplayer. So the goal here for launch is to have 3 different game modes, which are going to be Team Deathmatch, which I'm thinking of calling just Battle, Free for All, which might be called Warzone or something like that. I'm still working on the names for this as well. But then also Capture the Flag. But I have my own version of Capture the Flag. I'll be getting to that in a second. But I also want to just make this quick note to where there's going to probably be different iterations of Team Deathmatch and Free for All, would be dependent on the team's size. So, for example, there would be regular battle and then big battle. So you might have larger teams on a larger scale map in that case. I'm still trying to figure out how many maps I want to have in that case, or even if it's possible to use the co-op maps and figure out ways to include them or have different kind of variations of those planets or worlds. That's future down the road. A lot of concepts still needs to be redone in that regard. Now, for the Capture the Flag game mode, what I want to do is have it set up to where we have a... there's 2 different types of Capture the Flag, standardly. The first type is where you have a flag on each team's base, right? And the goal is to go into the team's base, take it, and then take it back to your own base. The second type is where there's a flag spawning in the middle of a map somewhere, and each team makes a mad dash to get that and then run it back. So my version of Capture the Flag is going to be a version of that secondary type to where it's a flag in the middle. The difference is I want the flag to be able to spawn from a random point from 3 specific points. So the idea of how this would work in game with the lore would be there's relic miners, right? And you're not capturing a flag, you're really capturing a relic. And the idea is you have to figure out which one of these miners has a relic at it. There'll probably be some kind of visual identifier, like UI, for that specific spawning of the relic. And you have to go pick it up and bring it back to your base. And when you bring it back to your base, it's not an instant capture. It also takes time for you to be able to actually complete the capture. Now, what does this do? What are the goal of adding these changes in here? Well, with there being multiple points at mid for capturing that relic, that's eliminating the problem of, say, the enemy team having somebody that's just camping in the middle and instantly able to take a flag and take it back to their base. With it being a random one from this 3 selected points, you're now having to think about, okay, how do I make the best route? If there is somebody still at mid, how is that going to work out? So pretty much just trying to eliminate that kind of like camping cycle behavior. Same time, with the capture taking time for it to do a scan of the relic, the goal there is to have opportunity for the enemy team to be able to come in and take it back. Just adding more opportunity for the player to make more badass plays, and just to have fun. So that's the goal there with that. There's also, I've been thinking about actually like a hardcore mode of that, to where, say, if you drop the relic, maybe it breaks and then a new one has to spawn, or if you kill somebody that's holding it, then maybe it'll just it can only like fall a certain number of times while somebody else has it. Something like that to make it even more challenging in like a hardcore mode. So that's pretty much it for when it comes to gameplay. So when it comes to the next factor, I really want to start bringing in more team members. The idea of Darkrest is, or at least was when it was college, is to have a project where the team, my friends and I back then, could work together and really make something that's unique in our own. I'm sure that's what it is for a lot of game studios when they're starting off, is to be able to tell their own stories and give their own experiences. So when it comes to me trying to revamp that, we're now all out of college. We have our degrees in animation and game art, and we necessarily don't have more free time, but we're not... Well, no, I want to say we have more free time, because back in college we were working our butts off on top of school itself. So most people that I've been talking to that were originally part of it, they do have more free time, and they are looking for artistic work within, I mean, what we got our degrees for. So I've been working on this for the past couple months, and I've been wanting to reach out to them and show them this once it got to a certain point, so that way they can, I don't know, have more faith in the project. And now that it's at this point and they're showing the excitement, I'm beyond happy to start, expanding and having stuff sent their way. But what that also means is, with the team expanding like that, I don't know how things are going to be working when it comes to, again, that publishing deal and how things are going to be working in that case. I need to do more research on that. But that's more on my end, and that's less like actual like devlog techie coding stuff. But that's something I felt like I should note. So that's pretty much it for the team members right now. I don't know if they're okay with me giving out more information about them and their situations, and how they're going to be incorporating their work with the team. So I'm not going to be giving out any of that information yet until I know like they're cool with it. They're good to be on the devlog. It'd be fun to even get them on the devlog sometime. That's pretty much it for this devlog. So the updates, if I included that in this video, this probably would have been like a half an hour video. So I decided to split them up into two, into this like more idea based video, and then the next one's going to be the updates, going over all of the big things that I changed. Big, small additions here, subtractions there, yada yada yada. So all of that is included in the next video, which should be coming out soon. So just keep an eye out for that. That's going to be it for this devlog then, 2A. I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys like the content, have any ideas, again, any input is valuable to me. Whether it's ideas for the game, things you'd add, things that you don't want to see in the game even, all input's valid and totally appreciated. So just put them down in the comments below. But that's going to be it. So I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, whatever it is for you guys. I hope it's going good. Peace out.